Welcome to Velocity Podcast. I'm here with Trevor. We've been talking a lot, and you and your people have been talking a lot about content creation with AI, or just AI in general.
And I blame people who just throw something into either ChatGPT or another AI, because there's lots of AIs that are out there, and they hit enter, and then they just copy and they paste it without looking. So here, we should talk about a couple tips on creating better content if you do want to use AI, because we're certainly not saying don't use it. There's just some parameters you should put around it.
Yeah, definitely. Everything has parameters. It doesn't matter where you are. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly talk about social media, and then I'm going to let you take it away.
Okay.
Each platform expects different content from you. So when I'm on LinkedIn, I expect different content than when I'm on Facebook. So similar to real life, when you go to a party on a Friday night, you're not going to meet me on Friday and be like, wow, she acted exactly like that at the staff meeting on Monday morning. Obviously, I'm going to be a little bit different. My tone's going to be different. You know, everything changes a little bit. I'm who I am, but the personality changes a little bit. Here's what I'm seeing on with the AI content creation. It's A, devoid of personality, and B, it's people are just copying, pasting, and throwing it everywhere. Are you seeing the same thing?
I would agree. I mean, we've always had the create once, send to many,
Yep.
Which is just an easy, efficient way of doing it if you're trying to save time. But it does reveal some cracks in the in the armor. And with chat and with AI, people are doing the same thing: copy and then paste, paste, paste.
Yeah. And it's allowing you to. So what do you see when you're scrolling? What are you thinking people should fix?
Okay, so a couple tips that we look for, or some telltales.
Yeah, telltales.
First of all, if you're copying and pasting, make sure you get rid of the quote. And that's an easy telltale. That's rookie hour. Because we are in Canada, use the English, the King's English, not the U.S. English. That's another tip that we can quickly tell if someone is actually writing this or if they just copy and pasted it from chat. And probably the most important one is create better prompts. It's a GIGO. It's a garbage in, garbage out system. The more you can give it, the better it will be. A lot of people we're seeing, and let's say you're writing about something that neither of us work with, exhausts, mufflers for your car. So you're writing about the importance of mufflers for your car, exhaust systems, different exhausts, and that we're seeing people would do this, for an example. Write a blog about importance of exhausts for my car, enter, and then just taking it and pulling it out. And so what's happening is chat is taking the content, and it really is just predictive writing, which means it's going to other things that have been written about that topic. Your topic was mufflers, and it's guessing on what you need. If you give it more information, hey, I need a blog about exhaust systems for this type of car. I want you to tell me about the costs that will be associated, why, environmentally it has to be updated, how often should a repair to exhaust happen on this type of car, how long should it take? So you're actually building up a prompt. You don't have to be crazy with your prompts and give it a technical, say, instructions. You can just write like a human does and ask it to retrieve that and then have it come back to you. Now all of a sudden you have a better answer and a better, in your case, a better article for it. And then from there, we always go to an editor. And then from the editor, then we always go to posting what we want. But the three tips would be, again, just to repeat those. One, give it really strong prompts. Two, make sure that you're talking in the King's English, so Canadian or British English. And then the last one, remove the quotes from it, because that's, again, the amateur hour. And that indicates really quickly that you just copy and paste it.
Yeah, that's really good. When it comes to the garbage in, garbage out, let's dive in a little bit more. So that was a perfect example for a blog, because I do see a lot of people, I know for a fact all they're saying is like, I need a blog about this, enter, and then copy paste. So you're saying ask it questions maybe almost as if it's like a human that can answer you. Like it's something you would maybe talk to your actual mechanic and be like, oh, so how often do I have to change this filter or something like that?
Absolutely. We would submit all the information that we want, and then we would also give it sub-context as well. So if we're talking about, going back to the muffler thing, how often should a muffler be repaired on a car? And then we would say within this section, please talk about common repairs, please talk about less common repairs, and the cost of these common repairs. So we're kind of structuring how the flow of that section would be in that part of the content, in that part of the article.
So it's like talking to a teenager. If you say, how was your day, you're going to get good. But if you're like, what was the most challenging part of the day? And you'll get more of an answer.
Or, what did you do in this class? What did you do in that class? What homework do you have? What are you doing tomorrow? Now all of a sudden you're building a dialogue.
Yeah, okay, it's interesting. So we need to build the dialogue. I like that a lot. Okay, so that's great for blogs. What about when you're scrolling on Twitter or Instagram? Are you like, wow, again, AI?
It's a little bit harder because those are just like micro blogs. If people are putting, so we're seeing more long form blogs on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and within those we are certainly noticing. Probably what we notice most is the AI imagery, because it's not at the level. So we always say this to clients: use your own images before you use stock images. And then I would say use stock images before AI images. Because AI images are not quite there. And again, sometimes if we're searching for an image and we can't find it, we'll go and check AI. But again, you have to edit or audit the pictures. One, we thought, hey, this is not a bad image, so we put it in our file folder. And then when we pulled it out the next time, we realized that the person who was typing in the background on a keyboard had 3 hands. So you
can't do hands.
Can't do
I
hands,
don't know why.
Can't do fingers, can't do eyes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's funny. I'm excited to see where it can go, but right now, I can't use any. At first I was so excited. Everyone's like, oh, use this, use that. And then I started to, and I'm like, this is horrible. It's not.
The conversation, so if you have a paid version of chat, you have chat Omni or Chat 4.0, so it's more conversational where you can talk to it. And imagine if Siri, I don't use Siri, but imagine if Siri could answer you back, and then you could ask a question on top of that, they can answer you back, and you could build dialogue. The conversation style is quite impressive, and it's going to, it jumped like tenfold. Like, if you're impressed with what you had at the beginning of the year, if you start paying into it, what's coming down the pipe next is pretty impressive, but it still lacks. All it does is it allows you to input more information into the prompt, and that it still is going to spit out the same type of information. It's just a lot stronger, but you still have to edit it like crazy. Sometimes it hits the mark, and then sometimes AI, there's a thing that says a hallucination. You'll hear that term. It's where it's starting to repeat itself, or it gives you answers that don't even match what you've asked. It's just because the system is bogged down. Everyone switched from Google overnight to AI, and now the world is using it. So it's it struggles, it chugs. It was down again the other day. A couple weeks ago when it was down, people had a bit of a panic. A month and a half ago when it was down, people were really panicking. The other day when it was down, everyone just like, it'll be up soon enough.
Yeah, so I had a client who was like, oh, ethically, I don't know if I like this because it's not my ideas. It's basically plagiarism. It's taking, because AI isn't actually artificial intelligence. It's like combing a database, grabbing the relevant information, and putting it in front of you. So I said to him, well, with the new AI 4, you can, or ChatGPT 4, you can put in your own stuff so it gets your tone. Because the other thing I noticed with all these people using AI for their blogs or for their tweets and captions, they all have the same tone.
Well, they all, so the newer versions, the paid versions had it for a while, where you can create your own chats. So then I actually have 2 named Trevor. One's Trevor Marketing and one is Trevor SEO. And actually I have a third one, a Trevor Personal. And they all have different tones where you go in and you train it. You say, these are the styles of sentences that I like, these are the words that I use, these are the words I never use. And as you continue to use it, if it brings in other words that you don't use or they're not in your vernacular, you can then go back into that chat that you've created and say, please don't use this word anymore, like the word legacy, or something that's just not.
Delve.
Delve is another one that it uses words that are not in the colloquialism of Canadians. I just keep going in and saying, please don't use this word, use this one instead, please don't use this word. So it's really dialing it in.
Adapting to your brand voice?
Right, as opposed to the chat that everyone is using, it's one voice. And so it's one voice for many. On the paid version, you can create your own voices, so it's a one voice for one. It's your voice. And so when I'm doing for SEO, it's slightly different. When I do it for marketing, it's a bit more of a heavier sales speak to it. And then I have a bunch more that are just fun to work with, storytelling ones I have, research ones that I have, and that. But again, it's adapted to exactly the voice and the tone that I set it for.
Yeah, so any closing remarks would essentially be this. First of all, the 3 tips at the beginning, perfect. But also make sure it's your brand voice that's going out, and taking time to edit is literally what's going to separate you from everybody else, because everyone else is copying and pasting. If you take time to do your prompts properly and you put your own brand voice in, then all of a sudden people can connect to you a little bit more. Because I think that's what's happening. I think there's a disconnect because there's no personality.
And brand is the currency of the future. It's what is your brand all about. So you want to make sure that everything that you do is in your brand. And if you need to use AI to assist you with some writing, make sure, there's nothing wrong with that, make sure it's in your voice and not in a voice that you don't speak like.
Exactly. All right, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Velocity Podcast. We're here to make your life a lot easier and so you can learn a lot about marketing.
Thanks for having me back on. It's been a while since we've seen each other.